have to do something. I shouldn't rush. So I just put that envelope in my pocket and very slowly went down the stairs in the street and tried to think, now what should I do? Then it occurred to me that when this police officer was talking to me, he didn't make any notes, he didn't take any, all my documents he put back in the envelope and sealed it and gave it to me, so that if I would show up upstairs in the forced labor department, he couldn't possibly trace me. He didn't know where I was, my address, or anything. So I decided, well, I'm not going to go there. And I just took the subway and went back home and went to my rented apartment, and rented room really in an apartment, and continued thinking, well, I didn't go there, but what I'm going to do now? My visa is going to expire. Then it occurred to me that I ought to try, it may be a long shot, but a try, that I'm going to travel to Posen, where my father lived, and report to the police headquarters there, and show them my passport and my student ID from Berlin, and ask them for visa extension and see whether they're going to do it for me. To do that, of course, I had to break the seal of the envelope, and I did. Once I did it, I knew that I would be, if I were caught in any way, I was in real trouble, but I did it. I destroyed the envelope somehow, I don't remember what I did with it. But anyway, I had my passport again, good for another 3 or 4 weeks, and I had my student ID, and I took a train, went to Posen, talked to my father, told me what happened. Next day I went to the police headquarters and showed them my passport and my student ID. I'm a student in Berlin, and I'm visiting my father, and I need an extension in my visa. Would you please extend me? They said, oh, sure, and they stamped my new visa for another year, which was June 45. So within about a week after that experience in the Berlin police department, I was back home in Berlin with my passport intact, with the visa extended, and my student ID in my pocket, and I avoided real calamity at that point. I'm sure luck had something to do with it too.
What do you say?
Well, by mid-44, bombings were getting, in Berlin, were getting worse and worse. The same was happening also in Hamburg and other big cities in Germany. Yeah. I befriended another foreign student in Berlin while we were studying. He was also studying electrical engineering as I was, and he was an Armenian, but Iranian citizen, and Iran at that time was a neutral country, so he had Iranian passport, and his family was in Hamburg, and they were a very wealthy merchant family, and with the bombings in Hamburg, they decided to evacuate, and they took some of the belongings, rented an apartment in a small village in northern Bavaria, in the place near Hof, and you can see it here on the map number 5, Hof, in northern Bavaria. And so they were moving there, and my classmates told me, well, no point staying here, we cannot really study anymore. I'm going to join my family over there in that little village, that little town in Bavaria, and why don't you just go down there also? And I thought that it was a pretty good idea, because by that time really it was very difficult to study. A good part of the school by that time was bombed out, burned out. So it was from one day to the next, you didn't know whether, after you talked to another fellow student, whether you would see him alive or whether he would see you alive. It was a really very difficult situation. Well, So I decided to also join that Armenian friend of mine in Bavaria, and he had a cousin who was also a student in Berlin. He was a pianist. He was studying music at the music university in Berlin, and he also was joining his family down in that Bavarian town. And so I decided to just go down there and also get out of the bombing in Berlin. Not having a regular foreign passport, I just had a passport that was really to a large extent dependent on me being a student at the Technical University. I wanted to kind of formalize my leaving Berlin, and I talked to the university office. At that point, I completed all the grades for undergraduate studies, and the only thing I needed to do is pass an examination, undergraduate diploma examination. And I told them that I wanted to take a leave of absence for 6 months from the university to be able to peacefully study away from Berlin to get ready for my examination. They thought it reasonable that they gave me a leave of absence for 6 months. So I had a stamp in my student ID indicating that I am on a leave of absence from the Technical University. So when I arrived in Bavaria, I had perfectly proper papers. Over in Germany, always, whenever you move, you have to register with the police. So over there, I could register. I'm a student in Berlin. I have a leave of absence, and my passport and visa is good for another year. I rented a room in that little town. The name of the town is Kirchenlamitz. It's kind of it's not here on the map, but it's just south of Hof. Hof is on the map. Well, and we settled in that little town in Bavaria. Now that was probably August 44. Now as I'm giving you those dates, of course I know you all are veterans and you know what those dates mean in all kind of other respects. You know, D-Day and Pearl Harbor and all kind of stuff was happening. And I'm talking about here getting a degree or getting this or getting that. You know, it's an entirely different dimension. But that was my dimension at the time. Well, we settled in that little town in Bavaria, and it was just absolutely peaceful, quiet little town in the mountains, peaceful. I had a nice comfortable room in a farmhouse, and the Armenian family, they lived in a larger apartment a little further, but I was entirely on my own. And but we were getting together, the three of us, my classmate, electrical engineering classmate, and the pianist, the musician. We were getting together just about every night. There was a nice beer stube there, beer hall. We could have a beer and play some chess.
Jesus, he had a tough
The pianist was playing classical music for us, and I had plenty of books that I brought with me that I could read. It was absolutely peaceful, quiet existence. August, September, October, November, December, 1944, mind you. Perfectly quiet, peaceful existence. No bombings, no shooting, nothing. Then came January, then came February, then came March. By March, of course, the Americans, Patton's army broke through into Bavaria, and the fighting was really, the war was really getting close again. Mid-April, as a matter of fact, it was I guess April 14th, American airplanes dropped leaflets on our little town saying that American troops, it was Patton's Third Army, are going to try to take the town, and that they expect a tough fight, and that civilian population should get into cellars or the potato storage areas underground, try to protect themselves because we'll be fighting. That was on April 14th. And in fact, as it turned out, the town, nice scenic town, was in a kind of a valley. And as it turned out, it was a very important point through which Patton's tank had to go through. And the Germans assigned some kind of a top elite SS group to defend that area, to hold them back, so that there won't be a big fight. We didn't quite know about it, so it would be quite that bad. Well, on April 15th, which was the day that we were told that we better clear out, perfect day, sunny, flowers are coming out, green grass in the backyard, and most people are hurrying into the basement and to the underground storage areas and so on. And the three of us, the three young students, were debating now what we should do. And I suggested to the other two, I said, well, let's look at some probabilities. What is the chance that the very first shot, artillery shot that would drop into the village would drop right on where we are? It's bound to drop somewhere else. And when they drop somewhere else, we had then plenty of time to get up and run into the basement of the farmhouse. And in the meantime, why don't we enjoy the weather, nice day, take a blanket, take our chessboard and play some chess in the backyard, on the garden. And that's what we did. We played a couple of games.